Once upon a time, in a magical ancient forest, life flourished. Towering trees swayed gently, vibrant flowers painted the ground, and dinosaurs roamed peacefully. The sun bathed the land in golden light, and a river sparkled like a ribbon of diamonds. It was a paradise. But one fateful day, everything changed. A strange darkness crept over the sky, turning it gray. The once thriving trees lost their leaves, their branches stretching out like skeletal fingers. Flowers wilted, the river dried into cracked earth, and a deep silence replaced the songs of birds. The dinosaurs grew fearful, their once happy home now a place of despair. They had no choice but to leave, searching for a new home. All except one. A tiny Parasaurolophus, no bigger than a hatchling, stood at the edge of the dying forest, its heart filled with sorrow. It didn't want to leave. This was its home. And somehow, deep down, it knew there had to be a way to save it. As the baby dinosaur wandered through the wasteland, its large eyes filled with sadness. The trees were nothing but lifeless trunks. The grass had turned to dust, and the once glowing fireflies had disappeared. The few remaining creatures, small lizards and birds, hid in fear, their food sources gone. The air felt heavy, as if the forest itself was mourning. The little dinosaur trudged forward, its tiny feet kicking up dust. It didn't understand why this was happening. Had the sky forgotten how to shine? Had the earth forgotten how to grow? The loneliness was overwhelming. It looked around, hoping to see another dinosaur, but the land was empty. Everyone was gone. But giving up was not an option. This forest was its home, and it would find a way to bring it back to life. Days passed, but the little dinosaur never stopped searching. Then one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the land, it stumbled upon something unusual. A small rock, half buried in the ground, pulsing with a soft golden light. Curious, the dinosaur carefully nudged the rock aside and gasped. Beneath it lay a glowing seed, unlike anything it had ever seen. The seed radiated warmth, as if holding the energy of life itself. As the baby dinosaur picked it up, a gentle hum filled the air, and for the first time in weeks, a single green leaf sprouted from the cracked earth beside it. Excitement bubbled in the little dinosaur's chest. This seed, it had power. It could bring the forest back. But where should it plant it? The answer was clear. The very heart of the forest, where the largest tree once stood. That was where hope had to be reborn. Determined, the baby dinosaur clutched the seed and set off. The journey was not easy. First, it had to cross a dry riverbed, its once glistening waters now replaced with jagged stones. The baby dinosaur carefully stepped across, its tiny feet slipping, but it held the seed tight, refusing to let go. Then came the hill, a steep, rocky slope that once held lush greenery. The climb was exhausting. Its small legs ached, but it pushed forward. Halfway up, a sudden gust of wind threatened to knock it down. The dinosaur squeezed its eyes shut, gripping the seed tightly. "I won't stop," it whispered to itself. "I have to do this." As night fell, the forest seemed to whisper words of encouragement. The glowing seed flickered brighter, filling the dinosaur with warmth. But danger was near. In the darkness, a shadow moved. A predator, a hungry raptor, eyes gleaming, blocked the path. The baby dinosaur froze, its heart pounding. It had no way to fight back, but it had one thing: courage. Slowly, it took a step back, then another. The raptor growled, inching closer. Then, quick as lightning, The baby dinosaur dashed to the side, weaving between rocks and fallen logs. The raptor chased, its claws scraping the ground. But the baby dinosaur was small and fast. It leaped over a gap, landing safely on the other side. The raptor skidded to a stop, snarled, then turned away. The little dinosaur let out a deep breath. It had made it. At last, the baby dinosaur arrived. Before it stood the remains of the great tree, its massive trunk cracked and lifeless. The air was still. Carefully, the dinosaur dug a small hole in the dry soil and placed the glowing seed inside. With a final push, it covered the seed and stepped back. Silence. Then a tremor. A soft pulse of light spread through the ground. The baby dinosaur's eyes widened as the soil cracked open, but not in destruction, in rebirth. A tiny green sprout emerged, then another, and another. The ground trembled as roots stretched out, reaching into the land, awakening the forest. Before the little dinosaur's eyes, trees began to bloom, leaves unfurled, and flowers burst into color. The sky brightened, the air filled with the sweet scent of blossoms, and the river began to flow again, its waters sparkling under the sunlight. Birds chirped, insects buzzed, and in the distance, the familiar sounds of dinosaurs returning filled the air. The baby dinosaur turned, and there they were, the others. They had come back. Their eyes were filled with amazement and joy. They cheered, roaring in celebration. The little dinosaur smiled, its heart swelling with happiness. It had done it. It had saved the forest. The little Parasaurolophus became a legend, the tiny hero who restored life to the forest. Sometimes it's not the biggest or the strongest who make a difference, but the ones who refuse to give up. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more magical adventures. What would you do if you found a magical seed? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep believing in the power of hope and courage. See you in the next adventure.